And then Mike, how much are you going to do probably on Amazon this year in revenue?
I don't even know. I still have my wholesale going kind of on autopilot because I have a couple brand directs. So I just kind of reorder, send it to the warehouse, and then ship it out little by little. That probably is like $250,000 in revenue with a pretty decent profit margin. And then probably the same for my first brand. And then my other brand that I kind of am not promoting too much because I don't want to like dox what the product is. That's probably going to do closer to 500 to maybe 1 million rev this year.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation.
What is up, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. It's your boy Kaj here with my co-host Josh.
What's going on, everybody?
And before we get into the episode for today, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, that is SellerSnap. SellerSnap is our repricer of choice. You guys have heard us talk about it regularly on this show. It helps you stay in the buy box longer, avoid price wars, and win more buy box percentage, as well as increase your profit. So if you guys are selling on Amazon and you're an arbitrage seller competing against other sellers for the buy box and you're not using SellerSnap, you are leaving money on the table, period. So click the link in the description to get a free trial and 10% off your first 3 months, or use the code Robinson when you sign up. And with that, I want to introduce our guest for today, Tona FBA. Mike or Michael, which one do you prefer? I always forget.
I feel like everybody just calls me Tona, but Mike is fine.
Mike Tona. So we met Mike, what was it, 2021 when we were in Miles' coaching program?
Yeah.
So it's been a minute that we've both been in the space, and it's been kind of cool to see the different paths that, Miles' coaching tree, all the different students take. But can you give a quick introduction of yourself? So we have had you on the podcast before. I believe it was episode 43, 48. I forget what I wrote down. So if you guys want to get more of Tona's background, that episode dropped in December 2024. But for listeners who didn't hear that one, can you just give a quick intro?
Yeah, of course. That feels like it was so long ago. It's been 6 months. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot has changed since 6 months ago. A brief background on myself. I started in the arbitrage space, moved into the wholesale space, got very intrigued with private label after just going through the typical issues of being an arbitrage and wholesale seller. Brands go away, Amazon makes new rules, stuff like that. And I always thought private label was the end goal. So I got into private label. I currently actually have 2 brands. One I don't share publicly. I will start sharing it in the future. One is pretty public. It's the supplement. I don't have it next to me. I would show you guys, but it's a stress supplement for women. And what else do? I have a TikTok SAS on the way. I haven't really promoted that too much, but it is actually live on the TikTok App Store as of this week. So I'll start pitching that and promoting it as much as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much a brief background.
And then Mike, how much are you going to do probably on Amazon this year in revenue?
I don't even know. I still have my wholesale going kind of on autopilot because I have a couple brand directs. So I just kind of reorder, send it to the warehouse, and then ship it out little by little. That probably is like $250,000 in revenue with a pretty decent profit margin. And then probably the same for my first brand. And then my other brand that I kind of am not promoting too much because I don't want to like dox what the product is. That's probably going to do closer to 500 to maybe 1 million rev this year.
Okay.
And they're both one SKU for both of those brands. It's
Wow.
I co-own the other one. So I run their Amazon, and then there's a couple owners that do all the other stuff like Shopify and TikTok.
Okay, very cool.
So between all 3 accounts, you're looking at $1 million in revenue plus.
Yeah. And it might not be as much as what I used to do in the OA days, but
Sure.
the margins are pretty hefty with PL, which is nice.
So the profit's probably the same, if not better.
Yeah.
Same
Definitely
profit,
higher.
less headache.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, there's still headaches with PL. PL's a little.
Sure.
It's definitely less of a headache, but it's up there.
Absolutely. Now, it seemed like fireworks were going off for 4th of July. Trump made a big announcement. Mike launched his new SaaS product, but it seemed like fireworks were shooting back at us from another company called Helium 10 was shaking up the space. Mike, can you just kind of go into detail about what Helium 10 is doing right now?
Yeah, of course. And for those of you guys that are listening or watching this that have been following me for a long time, I've always been one to show people how software works. I feel like that's something I've always been into. I've always been promoting software, not even just promoting it, but just like teaching people how to use them. And it was always tools that I've used. It's always ones that I thought were a best fit for my community and the customers that followed me. And I've always done affiliate marketing. Some companies I do it for, some are just general tweets on how to use software, like dating back to like Inventory Lab days. I was just every day I come up with a tweet, I throw it in my software, I let it, I would schedule my tweets. So I would like think of a crap ton of content and I would just plan it out for a whole month. But for those of you that don't know, some of it's affiliate marketing, but I only promote tools that I actively use and can kind of back. But with Helium 10, I got some backfire on this. It was a very, very big tool I've promoted for about a year and a half since I've been doing private label. And honestly, still to this day, I think it's a great tool. But as you guys can tell from my latest LinkedIn rant, they cut all of our commissions. So for those of you that don't know how the affiliate marketing works in the software world, Helium 10 had a 25% lifetime commission for anyone that subscribed via your link or your promo codes or any of your promotions. And pretty much over the past years, I had a bunch of subscribers. I had, new users subscribing every month. They had a bonus program that they would pay their affiliates on, as long as you were bringing in and had existing subscribers. And then on top of that, you had the 25% lifetime. And pretty much out of nowhere, they just said, hey, we're done. We're clipping it. They gave us a 30-day heads up, and their terms kind of contradicted it in our affiliate portal, and to the point where people were like looking at legal options to see if there's a case or not. But the thing that pissed me off the most, because from someone who's building a SaaS tool and working in the software space, I get it from a founder perspective. They have the right to do whatever they want. It always has the subject to change in their terms, and I get it. They want to rev boost. They might want to sell the company, do a nice little PE flip. I get it. But the way they went about it was what pissed me off the most. Pretty much they sent out an affiliate email from their affiliate manager saying, if you look at my LinkedIn post, you'll see what the email is because I kind of blasted them for it. But they basically, the title of the email, the title of the email was like a better, bigger change for Helium 10 affiliates, like new things on the way. And then at the very bottom, at the very bottom of the email, it just said like why we're moving to a new affiliate program or affiliate system. They used to use this program called Cake or Crush It, and now they're switching to Impact, which is a very enterprise type software that bigger companies use. And they're saying it's due to technical limitations because of, link tracking or UTM tracking, whatever. They want to see where the actual traffic's coming from. But to me, I think it's just a poor excuse for them to like clip their commissions from all of the loyal affiliates that have been promoting Helium since day one, since 2018. And I'd assume a lot of their revenue comes from affiliates. So it's kind of cruel to see the greed from their, pack view owners and the people who are on the board to kind of clip it from 100% to zero out of nowhere. Now, the email pretty much stated that they are still keeping a new commission structure. The commission structure, instead of 25% lifetime, is now 100%, but for 1 month. So if you think about it, if it's a $100 tool, I would be getting $25 for every month for one user, as long as they stay subscribed. Now, the new structure is pretty much I get $100 once. So if you think about it, a user would have to stay on for longer than 4 months, realistically, for me to like make my money back. But this was a tool that I have users using it for 12 months. So I would actually make 3 times as much as that on the old structure than the new structure. For people that have subscribers, like I said, that churn quicker, that cancel within a couple months, the new program actually kind of makes sense for them. But for the people who use this like a PL tool, who are building brands for years, who need to use the features for years, it hurts those lifelong, legacy affiliates is what I would call it. So you have people that I'm not going to name specific affiliates, but people were making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, big agency owners, big course sellers, a lot of, bigger names on YouTube, making a lot. And then they're like, hey, by the way, we changed it. We didn't send out a notice about the terms changing. So they changed the whole contract and just didn't tell anyone. And yeah, and that was pretty much what happened. And they're like, oh, you have 30 days until it changes. So I don't know. I thought it was a little messed up. And then on top of that, they changed their terms again a couple of days ago. And it basically now says that if you promote competitors, we reserve the right to clip all of your commissions. So it just seems like a very bad way going about it. It's like it was a super deceptive email. A lot of people just didn't even realize that they were changing.
I didn't realize. Yeah. Not until someone messaged me, because I got the email too. So I only recently became an affiliate for them. So like it doesn't impact me too much, just because I really haven't been heavily promoting it. But I saw the email and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then like someone put it out and I went back. I was like, holy, like people are going to get. Yeah.
Luckily I read my emails and I don't know. I do a lot of affiliate marketing, so I'm always tracking that. And the email stuck out to me. It's like, oh, a better way for affiliates to whatever. So I looked at it and then I'm like, what the hell? I immediately texted and DM'd a couple big time affiliates and they were like, wait, what is this? Like, I didn't even see this email or I didn't even notice this. I'm sure people have crowded inboxes too. So I think this is why I got so offended by it and why I'm pissed. And people are going to, say, hey, you're being greedy yourself. You want all the commissions. And I'm like, well, yeah, I've been marketing this tool for a long time. And there are somewhat better tools in the space. And that's why I kind of got some heat for it, because people were like, why would you promote Helium if there's better tools in the space? And I'm like, listen, if you made a course and hundreds of videos on one tool, you're not going to be able to flip it overnight, especially, the way our whole course is built out and all of my content's built out and all my YouTubes are done. There's no way to just like switch links and just switch teams. And the tool is good.
It's a good tool.
It's a great tool.
We first used it back in 2017. We used it for a couple years in private label. Then we picked it back up and been using it for another year or two. Like, it's a solid tool.
I think the reason that I would say that there's better tools in the space is because I've been telling them, hey, there's a few features you need to add. There's a couple of things you need to add to your UI. There might be an extra column for a specific data tracking that I'd like. That competitors like Jungle Scout or Data Dive or Smart Scout have. And when you're a PE-owned company, you move very slow once you're bought out, and they cut costs like crazy. So a lot of the employees that I know are gone. They're firing more people, from what I know, on top of that, and their customer support has been terrible, and it's getting worse. So it's like, I know how to use the tool. I know how to teach my customers and my coaching students and people online. I know how to promote it and use it. But when you don't take customer feedback, that pisses me off the most, because I could be going and working with founders like Smart Scout's founder, Scott. Like, he's super, super available. He's always looking to add new stuff. They're always taking in feedback. And so are a bunch of other tools. But when you work with a company that's this big, and I was sending Loom videos to their development team, like, hey, this is why I need this. This is our whole community needs this. Like, it's not just one user asking for a feedback request. It's me asking, because I've had 30 people ask about it. So it pisses me off that they've just not taken feedback. Their customer support's been pretty bad, and they focus on other stuff that probably isn't necessary. And that's what pissed me off the most, on top of just the way they made that email. I don't know. It didn't go well.
Yeah. And the thing I'll add to that too, just as I've been thinking about the situation, is like the Amazon seller space is a niche community. It's not it's like a very specific kind of target audience. And most people who get into it start off as a small business, often a 1-person or 2-person team. And most of those people learn how to sell on Amazon through watching YouTube videos. So it's like a high likelihood that almost every single Helium 10 user is finding the tool through a creative, which is why affiliate marketing in the space is so big. because it's like for me, I have, the YouTubers that I've been watching for years that when I sign up for a new tool, like for example, Data Dive, like I'm watching all of Brandon Young's videos, I'm watching the Data Dive YouTube videos, right? And so for them to cut all of the affiliate marketers, it's like you're cutting everyone who literally built the tool from the ground up, which is just, it's kind of dirty.
And also the worst part is all the old links are now rendered useless on August 1st. So because they're switching portals to Impact, you have to now use Impact links. So YouTube, you could switch easily. But for me, who tweets, posts on LinkedIn, posts on like all these other platforms, Instagram, I'm posting it on my stories that are saved in highlights. Now all of that's rendered useless. So it's like, to them, they're like, oh, you could just swap your links. These are going to be better. Like, we're going to track things better. And their whole thing was like, it's technical limitations. But then they go to a more expensive tool and then cut all the commissions. I don't know. They could have went about it many, many ways. Like, they could have cut the bonus program first and cut this later. They could have been honest about it and say, hey, for us as a software, we want to build more features. But for us to build more features, we need more money to invest into that, to more developers. And for that reason, we want to take away the bonus structure. We want to lower the commission from 25% to 15%.
Sure.
I would have been fine with that if they were honest. But now
it's just the communication. Yeah. And it's also like there are other tools too that just do the 100% upfront, right? It's like there's nothing wrong with that model. But it's like if you're promoting a tool, again, like for content creators who their job is to create content, this is one of the ways content creators make money. And so you're pushing a tool expecting lifetime commission, but then you get a 30-day notice that's all gone. Yeah. So it's like it sucks to see. Again, it happens in business. It's unfortunate. We could spend the whole podcast talking about this.
Yeah.
There was one other point I wanted to make on that quickly. Now it's escaping me. So maybe we can just transition to private label quickly. Unless if Josh,
honestly, I was going to say, I was just going to ask him, now that he's building his own SaaS tool for the TikTok game, in terms of like, what lessons are you learning from Helium 10's mistake that you're potentially going to implement, or maybe think a little bit more about when continuing to launch your SaaS company?
Definitely when we build out our affiliate program, I think our terminology is going to be pretty transparent. It's going to say, maybe it's going to say lifetime up to X amount of years, like lifetime of the subscriber equals whatever. Like there is some like vague terminology, and like you can be transparent about it. But I think you need to be upfront and honest with your terms, number one. Number two, if you are going to do it, be honest as a company, because like I'm a major affiliate for them. So I've been on both sides now, so I understand how I feel. And like in my rant, I said, this is people's rent money. This is like people's bills. Like giving them a 30-day notice is crazy. And also hiding it within an email. Imagine all the people that, if I didn't make a big stink about it, imagine the affiliates that didn't know, that were making 5, 10, 15K a month, that were using it on their mortgage or their kids or their car bills. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money. And people are probably going to say like, oh, they've probably saved up plenty over time. But like, they also tell us that, like, my affiliate manager was like, oh, I don't see this going away. Like, you're fine. Right. But he also doesn't know that either, because the founders can make whatever decision. So my learning lessons, just being honest, being transparent. If you truly want to do it for the company to build better features, then just say, hey, like moving forward, you're grandfathered, but all new users are now on a one-time. I think that would be the best case scenario. Don't get greedy. Or they could have just been honest and said, hey, we're going to lower our structure. We're going to clip the bonus structure. And just go about it the right way, because I think the word of mouth is going to hurt them in the long run. They might get a nice rev boost now, but they're losing all of their power affiliates. They're losing all of the word of mouth and the credibility that they've built since 2018.
Right. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about what you are building and why it gets you so excited.
Cool. Private label brands or the software? Which one?
Let's just stick with software.
Cool. So I am building a tool called Hubfluence. If you've followed me for some time, I did actually tweet about it and post about it like twice. But then I kind of halted that because I was in like building stages. But I've been doing this for the past 9 months, and it's taken a lot out of me not to talk about it. But it is now officially live on the TikTok apps and service store. So if you go and look for creator collaboration tools. Hubfluence will be up there, but it's essentially a tool that helps you find, manage, and track analytics of your creators. It's going to be a management platform. Right now, it's a auto DM, pretty much a bot that helps you connect with creators, track their performance, and track sample requests. It has a whole messaging center, so you can contact them through the platform rather than having to use like TikTok's very annoying messaging platform. It's just like the user interface is super ugly, and no one wants to go back and forth from like one page to another page. So we have everything hosted within Hubfluence itself.
Nice. And then how long did that take you to build out?
So I want to say we've been doing it for like, the LLC was created 9 months ago, but I think we started building it like 6 or 7 months ago.
Okay.
And we're constantly, finding new bugs, finding feature requests, updating it, making it better each and every day. We have been in the beta phase for quite some time. So internally at TikTok shop owners that I knew have been testing it out. But now that it's officially live, it's pretty much open to anyone to go use. Right now it's free on the App Store. So if you want to go download it, you could download it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have a whole Discord. So if you come across any issues or if you have any feature requests, we're always open to making it better. And yeah, I think it's a great tool for beginner brands because TikTok has limitations on how many creators you can message. And we have so much education because I've been through the process of having 2 brands. I've been in a community that teaches TikTok Shop, and I've seen all the feedback from them. And we've kind of pretty much built a tool around it where it's like, hey, we have all these templates, we have all these resources, we have all these recommendations on how you should approach reaching out to creators, what messaging templates you should use, which bots you should use, what's a good commission structure, what's not a good commission structure, just the way you just talk to creators. We have a whole help center for that. And then on top of that, we have our Discord. So if you just want genuine advice, you can just ask me or my co-founder.
Okay, very cool. Now, kind of walk us through just for some, buddy that's new to this game. Like, what does it look like when you're a brand and you're going to go kind of make first contact with an influencer? Kind of walk us through the individual steps for, to like the end for like a video to be published and for that influencer to create commission.
Yeah. So obviously the first hurdle is just getting your brand and your products up on TikTok Shop. I think that's the biggest thing. But the next biggest thing is finding good creators. So I'll talk about it from the brand side and then I'll talk about it from the creator side. The brand side's pretty easy. Once your product's up, you have the messaging center. Our tool makes it very simplified on creating multiple different campaign styles. You could do an open campaign or a target campaign. An open campaign is pretty much a message you send to a creator. It gives them a little product card insert that shows your product, how much stock you have, which is why having a lot of stock is super important. Because if a creator gets an invite in their affiliate portal and you have 5 units or 50 units or 100 units, they're not going to want to go make content. Even if your commissions are 100%, there's only 100 units left. So as a brand owner who's diving into this, definitely get more than 1,000 units off the bat, especially if you're doing all those 1,000 towards TikTok, because the creators can see it. So the open campaign, it's pretty much your flat commission rate that you set for each individual product. And then a target collaboration is an invite you can send to specific creators one by one with a higher commission rate. So only that creator can get a higher commission. So what we advise is, filter by higher GMV creators, filter by creators that have maybe a demographic specific to your product with good GMV. Give them maybe 5% more, 10% more, and then explain it in the message. You can also invite them to your Discord and train them within your Discord, which is cool. And then from the creator side, creators need, I believe now, 1,000 followers to have a link in bio. And then 5,000 followers to be invited to the TikTok Affiliate Center, which is where you can kind of promote products, receive sample requests, and all of that. Most of the people nowadays are buying accounts or they're running up ads to get to that 5K mark, and they spend a few $100. I think that's the technique. I don't think it's changed since the last time I checked. I think it's still pretty much the same way. And then, from a creator side, it's just post, copy what everybody else is doing. There's a lot of tools that I can recommend. So if you want a specific tool, just let me know. There's ones like FastMoss or Calidata that pretty much gives you insights on all affiliate videos. So which ones are generating the most affiliate GMV, or profits essentially, or revenue. So if you're a beginner creator, I would just go get that tool. Yeah, it costs money, but you can go find literally the top performing videos. You can download a transcript of that video and then use ChatGPT, use AI. AI is the next level thing. We'll have tools for that in the future, probably. But just transcribe it, change it a little bit different. There's the whole 80-20 rule, but I say it's like a 99-1 rule. Just tweak it ever so slightly, and then go post a video with that same frame, that same framework, like the same style hook, the same style fluff. If it worked once, it can work again. And that's how creators kind of go viral.
And I'm assuming part of the reason why you built Hubfluence is to use that for your own brand, and that I'm sure you tried out some of the other tools and they didn't exactly do what you were looking for as you're building your own brand on TikTok Shop.
Yeah. Well, the first thing was I saw TikTok emerging, and I've always wanted to build a software. It's like been my lifelong goal. It's like private label was up there, but then SaaS is always like a service. Is always the thing, like especially like an enterprise service. I've been affiliate marketing them forever, and I have a close friend who's built some cool tools in the Amazon Walmart space, and I approached him. I'm like, hey, I know this TikTok ban's happening. This was like pre-ban. A couple of the tools in the space were out, but honestly, like weren't good, like at all. Their user interfaces sucked, and I'm like, I want to build a tool. I know the ban is like around the corner. It was like a couple months out. I think this was like November of last year. So like this was like 4 months before the like so-called ban. I'm like, I don't really care if it gets banned or not. I think we need to start ahead of time if we want to make this big, because that'll give us a huge leg up compared to everybody else who's just like not building anything because they're scared that the app's going to get banned or sold, or it's just no longer going to be a thing, which is a great time to start. So I kind of proposed the idea. I'm like, hey, I want to build a tool like this one, but this one's really bad. I've been building a brand for over a year, and I've seen all this feedback on why people hate it. So it's like, that's essentially what SaaS is. It's like you build a tool for your own personal problems that you've dealt with, and you make it better. And I've been in this community seeing all these, issues people like come about throughout their journey. And I'm like, okay, how do we fix this? How do you want it done? What's a better way to go about that problem you're encountering now? And you get all that feedback. So we basically just applied it to the tool, and we're going to continue to improvise it and collect as much feedback and pretty much make it 1% better every day. And that was the whole idea behind it.
Solid. Okay. Josh, do you have anything else on software?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the private label brand. How many subscribe and saves are you up to now?
I want to say like 350. I don't know what we had it last time.
I forget. I don't remember what it was last time.
I could check.
Me and Josh are always talking about subscribe and saves in our account too.
Subscribe and save.
So that's
331.
331 units, and that's on one SKU.
One SKU.
That's so sick.
Yeah. And then the other brand, which I think is going to blow up even bigger, I think that it takes like a month to like enable subscribe and save. You have to meet like a couple of requirements. It's kind of annoying. So I'm like itching because we just got it to go live a couple weeks ago. And I'm just like checking all the time. I'm like, I just want to turn it on because we have all this TikTok traffic that we're going crazy on. We're doing numbers on TikTok. Now that Amazon's live, which is what I'm in charge of, I'm like, I just want subscribe and save customers. I want these like LTV customers, long-term, non-churning customers. So I'm just itching for that. But subscribe and save is definitely a great way to, selling your brand and selling for like pretty big profits, because it goes a long way when you could show private equity or, a VC company that wants to like buy it out that you have, thousands of people that have this set on a recurring subscription, and you could show them all of that data because Amazon gives you all of that.
Yep, 100%. So how many units did you sell in June or about?
In June, I think June was actually worse than the month before. I want to say like around 500.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, which I think my biggest month was 750.
Oh, wow.
But it's all purely because of social media content.
Yeah, right.
That's what everyone's doing nowadays, and that kind of feeds into the whole reason why I'm building the tool, because I want to incorporate features for both platforms, potentially TikTok and Amazon, and or maybe just social media itself, like tracking analytics from all platforms, something like that. But yeah, 750 was the biggest month. And then we went down a little bit. We had one creator who was really good leave, which sucked. But that's just part of the game. You just gotta, they might have gotten a better offer, and maybe I wasn't giving them enough bonuses or giving them enough pay. And, it's a lesson learned.
Sure. And so are you aggressively pushing PPC on Amazon, or are you focusing most of your marketing just on that spillover from TikTok advertising or TikTok affiliate promotion?
I'm always testing Amazon. Like, I'm still spending. I'm probably spending $2,000-$3,000 a month. Okay. But it's on profitable keywords.
Sure.
The downside is it could be skewed from content. So we use specific terminology in the content so that I can kind of go and check those keywords and see if there's a higher ROAS from those. But the way I set up my campaigns initially was I did an exact match and then a loose match, and you just collect all the keywords, see which ones are doing. You're not going to be profitable in the beginning. You're just buying data, essentially. That's what I call it. And I store all those keywords, and then I build them out into campaigns of 3 to 5 keywords. The downside of doing 5, though, is you might have 2 keywords that are hitting and they're overspending your whole budget, and then the other 3 just don't spend because maybe the keyword budget's $4 a click. So you might have to separate them and put them into another campaign. But I think I currently have 5 campaigns of 5 keywords. So it's 25 really heavy hitter keywords. And then I pretty much over the past few months have been tracking that each and every week, seeing where the bids are on all of those. If they're performing at a positive ROAS where it's profitable, I'll be willing to bump the budget up a little bit, or maybe change the top of search percents. And yeah, I've been pretty much doing that. You could do category campaigns. You could do product targeting campaigns, which are pretty profitable. If you want to target some of your competitors, those are really slept on. And then you could do videos. I haven't gotten into that, but I have some friends that do the video ads that will appear at the top in the middle of the search. And those hit. If you have a decent video, I had a friend who made one on Canva, and he said his ROAS was above 5 or something. It was insane. For Amazon, that's really good.
That's very good.
But again, it could be skewed because you're pushing all this TikTok traffic, and people are going to go to Amazon and find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's no true way of saying oh, this keyword stress supplement with the 4 ROAS is good, but you could have had a video get 10 million views on TikTok about stress supplements. So now everybody goes and types it in, and then they find that product, and they're oh, that was the product, and then they go buy it, and then your data's a little off. So it's hard to say, but you could put, I guess, a little wiggle room with your ROAS if you want. So if you're profitable at 0.175 or 1.75, maybe put a little mark in and say if it's 2 or higher, I'll keep it running or something like that. But
right.
But yeah, at the end of the day, if it's semi-profitable, just let it run, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of a video hits on TikTok with a certain amount of views, and then you're seeing a certain amount of units go through that link? Is that data that you can track relatively easily? Okay.
So on our dashboard, we're really working on making our dashboard super attractive, kind of how everyone shares the Amazon dashboard screenshots. We want to make it like that, but for TikTok. Cool. So we are going to be just a desktop, like a website. We're not going to have a mobile app anytime soon, but we want to make it so that our dashboard, right when you get to the main page, when you log in, you could see a nice bar graph with a line graph behind it. And pretty much it's going to display both the GMV as well as the views of your videos that your affiliates are performing. So you'll see the correlation in your sales that day, as well as your views from tagged videos. Now, if you're doing slideshows and Amazon CTA videos that aren't tagging the product, you won't be able to see that stuff. But there might be some ways to build that in the future. Now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, you will be able to see the correlation from specific videos in your sales that day.
Cool. That's so cool. I'm very excited to see that.
You'll see as I start to actually, now that we're live on the App Store, we'll be able to post it now. So I'm excited to start actually marketing my own company, which is nice. It's something I've always wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have people who are searching for the specific name of your product on Amazon or the brand name of the product on Amazon from the TikTok videos? Like this, like how many or around like what's that monthly branded search term volume? Because that's always huge for us, right? Obviously, like we're not like looking to sell your product, but when I'm looking for a brand partner, one of the first things we look for is what's the monthly branded search term volume? Because if they don't have that, that means they're essentially just a dead brand. And it's like, it's going to take a heavy lift to spend PPC on Amazon for generic keywords. Because then people are like, what is this? But if there's if there's momentum behind the brand, if people are looking for that specific product, that's always a huge green flag.
And that's always an upsell as like a wholesale or like someone who's looking to do brand direct contracts. Like that's another, like my tool could be a tool that helps leverage that exclusive deal. Like if a company is not doing branded search or not running ads right, and you go in and see that they have no branded search, it means maybe they're not using creators and maybe they're lacking that TikTok marketing mechanism. And you can kind of go in and say like, hey, I know a tool that can help you, you know, find some creators and boost it. And you can use it as leverage to lock in a contract, whether they go and do it or you're just bringing that connection to a tool like mine or any of the others in the space. I think that's a cool way to leverage it. Number two, to go back on your question, I'm not checking it as often as I should, but I went through a trademark change. So my new batch actually is going to not be called Quality Supplements. I'm changing it. And I put a sticker, pretty much, this isn't my product, but I'm basically putting a sticker on the top saying like new look, same old feel, something like that. So my customers aren't confused, especially to subscribe and save. And it's going to have a whole new label around the bottle. It's going to look exactly the same. The only thing that's changing is just the brand name. And the reason I bring this up is because to get that branded search term data, you need to have a trademark through brand registry. And you guys obviously have experience being brand partners with companies. You'll see all the data behind brand registry and the search term reports and the market buckets where it's like you could see what products are buying, like what products people are buying with yours. And you can go and take that data, and this is a side tangent, that's a great metric because if someone's buying this water bottle with this one and this one's yours, you can go run ads on this one.
Yep.
Because it's commonly bought with your product. So if you're not running ads on it, it's a pure, perfect opportunity to find a really good, profitable campaign. Because if it's selling with it organically, why wouldn't you put ads behind it? And it gives you all of that data, which is really cool. But the reason I bring it up is I'm going through a trademark change. So I actually have to somehow figure out how to change it on my listing and get the branded search results on my new trademark since the old one expired. Or technically it abandoned. So I actually haven't checked in the past month because I don't have access to it. But all the previous months, I downloaded an Excel file, and the branded search term reports do show that people are searching the brand name quite frequently because of that content.
That's fire.
Sorry, I kind of answered that question right at the end of my rant. But
no, that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Solid. It's very dope. And how long have you had the quality supplements? So about a year, a little over a year?
I want to say I launched it like around now. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that's where I remember you started to post about it. So let's also maybe just quickly, like super high level, what's the process for private label? Because I have a lot of people who ask me about private label, and I'll be completely honest. Like I tell most people they should not do private label. And that's
a lot.
It's because one, I've done private label. We had a successful product. We had an unsuccessful product. We've done all the different models. One, you have to be self-aware, like just what's your skill set. But two, with private label versus even like an online arbitrage, right? Like online arbitrage, very easy to kind of dip your toes in the water, spend, a few $100, $1,000. And then if you don't like it, if it flops for whatever reason, you can get out and you're not like dead in the water.
Yeah.
Versus private label, sometimes people get like super gung ho. They don't understand data. They buy off of emotion. They buy off of gut feeling. You've invested 10K, 20K, totally flops. Now you're like out a substantial amount of money. So that's the main reason I tend to tell people not to do private label, because a lot of people aren't data focused and they think they just have this cool idea and everyone's going to love it, when in reality, that's just not true. But from a high label, how do you see private label for someone who's listening to this podcast, who's thinking about private label? Like, what are the common pitfalls that they should be looking to avoid?
I would say be willing to wear all the hats is like the number one thing. Like, be willing to work. If you join a program, whether or not it's like the one in my bio or any of the other coaching programs, there's so many good ones. You're going to have to probably spend money for some mentoring, number one, but you should have a decent budget for inventory, for design, for creators. Creators are getting a commission based off your revenue, but some of them want bonuses. The good ones want bonuses or retainers. So you have to keep that in mind. And inventory could be, $10K out the gate plus mentoring. And I always say mentoring because there's so many mistakes you can make in the process, such as trademarks, such as like, I thought my trademark was perfect. No one was named it, but apparently someone had part of their name as like half of my name. And apparently in trademark law that if it's somewhat close, it's still not going to pass. So it has to be completely unique, number one. And then going through a rebrand is a bitch. You have to get all new design. You have to go through, pay designers to redo everything, whether you do Fiverr or you do a professional company. There's a lot of costs. And number two, you got to go through all those stages. You got to learn what trademarks are. You got to learn how the design process is. You need to learn the psychology of colors for a product and how, your demographic is going to, potentially buy a product based on that, especially supplement space. Like everything is color psychology and supplements. And like you said, some people just get a gut feeling. They're like, oh, this is a cool product idea. I'm like, yeah, this is a cool product idea, but how do you get the word out? You're going to run ads. That's going to cost you $5K. There's so many different avenues that you're going to have to learn as a private label seller. So the biggest piece of advice is have a decent budget, and also just be willing to work a lot and learn a lot. And if you could do that, if you could go through YouTube and watch 10 hours of PPC videos, then you can learn PPC very easily, but it takes 10 hours of, knowledge. And then same thing goes for, everything else. And if you're a little tech savvy, I think that helps. So if you're good with AI, and software, I think that'll go a long way. But like you said, OA and wholesale, it's like buy low, sell high. You don't need as much for arbitrage. And as long as you can learn the first important task, which is how to source, and you only really need SellerAmp for that, then you're good. So it really depends on the person and how confident they are.
Yeah. Yep. And what their budget is.
Yeah. Budget's the biggest thing. I think time constraints actually aren't that bad. Like you could probably build a private label brand with a couple hours a week. But keyword research is going to take some time. PPC videos are going to take some time. So the first months, it might be 10 hours a week. But then after research. The brand is, of just research, design. But after that, like I'm not doing that much work anymore. I'm buying inventory. My ads I check once or twice a week, maybe every 3 days. I make my adjustments when I see fit. And, the design's already done. The product's already selling. I check in with a content manager for TikTok because I have someone helping me run it. And he's a creator too. So he gets, a creator pay and then a little bit extra to kind of oversee it. And besides that, it's like pretty set in stone. If I want to build more SKUs, then obviously it's going to be a headache. But once that brand is, kind of done, there's not as much work in those like further months.
Right. For sure.
Unless you're really scaling like a crazy ton and you're not delegating it. But I think delegating is super important.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. Especially for private label. Delegation is key. And especially just like really the knowledge of the game of like how to negotiate with suppliers. What does it look like in terms of getting a discount and how many units you need to order? Because that could make or break.
Having the credit.
Having a credit and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
Mike, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say like most suppliers in the beginning for the PL space will want like 50% up front. But after you go through a couple orders, you can kind of work on net terms. And to get good net terms, you need like a DMB profile. So like that's small stuff that people in that space might not know or you have to learn. So like I said, there's little tidbits that you'll come across. And this is why mentoring goes a long way because you're working with people that have been through all these steps that have a checklist of everything you should do. So you don't run into those mistakes because if you run into those mistakes, you'll lose 10 grand, maybe more, maybe less. You might build a really bad product, which is, a complete flop. when in reality, you could have spent a couple $1,000s on mentoring.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree.
What were you saying before that?
I mean, yeah, I was kind of like the same thing in terms of, especially if you're doing private label and you're a little bit newer in the space, I would definitely get some sort of mentoring because it's going to save you so much money where you never thought you could save money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would just be my lesson for everybody. Mike, where can people find you on the internet if they want to get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah, so Tona FBA is going to be my forever name, even if I do TikTok forever, if I go into other ventures. I would like to buy the handle Tona, but I don't. I can't get it. That would be great. But Tona FBA everywhere. Twitter, I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Instagram, I'm trying to be more active on. It's just incredibly tough to post. I hate Reels. Reels are tough to post, but it's a lot of work with that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then some other stuff that I'm working on, like I said, Hubfluence is coming out, or it is out. And you'll start seeing more posts about that. So I'll definitely get a lot more active with that.
Awesome. Everybody knows the links will be in the descriptions below. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any topics that you want us to discuss in the future. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, follow the podcast so you can stay updated on all of our new content. And we will see you on the next one.